Hello and welcome to our Betfred Sports Talk here at the Quest Media Network studios. I'm Lewis and I'm joined by Peter Spencer from Betfred. How are you doing today, Peter?
Yeah, great, thanks very much.
Well, we'll start with a bit of transfer talk. Someone who looks like he might be on the move. We've spoken about him quite a lot on this show, Harry Kane. Where do you think he'll end up?
Well, I think the fact that Tottenham have signed James Maddison has affected things because he's now got a player who can do all the creative work in midfield and maybe create even more goals for him. He's got in his sights Alan Shearer's all-time record to be the top goal scorer in the Premier League. So I think there's got to be question marks in his head whether to move from Tottenham. But the odds at Betfred are that he'll stay at Tottenham, which is 8 to 11. Bayern Munich, they're 5 to 4. Manchester United are still in there. They're 10 to 1. I still think he'd make an ideal player for Manchester United. He fits the bill perfectly, particularly if he gets back up front and stops doing his midfield work as much as he has been doing of late. And Real Madrid, they're 12 to 1 shots. Much will depend on whether Real Madrid signed Kylian Mbappe.
And another player that might be on the move is Bernardo Silva. He's wanted by a lot of Saudi clubs and maybe PSG as well.
Yeah, it'll be a major blow to Manchester City having lost Gundogan if they do lose Silva as well. You've got to start questioning what they're doing there in terms of retaining these excellent players, having won the treble. Players, mercenaries, they're in it for any money they can get. That's I'm really convinced about that. Supporters like to think that they've got great affinity to the club. Well, they haven't really, because as soon as the golden opportunity arises or it suits the family to move on, well, they just do. And it happens at City, United and all the top clubs. Anyway, Bernardo Silva, his next club, he's 5 to 4 to stay at City, which would delight all the supporters. He's an excellent player, of course. Any Saudi Arabian club is 6 to 4 with Betfred, and PSG, they're 3 to 1. Barcelona, 12 to 1. But I mentioned Mbappe just before, and he's a target of Real Madrid. He's 4 to 5 with Betfred, that's where he'll end up. PSG, 10 to 11. And here's one that'll delight United supporters once that takeover's sorted out. He's 12 to 1 to join Manchester United. 12 to 1, Kylian Mbappe to join Manchester United.
So you're telling me it's possible?
Well, there's a chance it's in there. It's third favourite.
And two other players we've spoken about quite a lot on this channel, Mason Mount and his best mate, Declan Rice. They're both, they both look like they've settled on which club they're going to be going to.
Yeah, they're both on holiday, different places, I guess. But the Mason Mount is now joined Manchester United. All the terms have agreed, and it's virtually agreed that Declan Rice joins Arsenal. I think they're great moves for both of them, frankly. They're both probably thinking it's a shame they're not paired up again like they did in the academy system at Chelsea. But I think for Declan Rice it's going to be a harder transition because they'll be looking for him to do more creatively rather than the supreme defensive role that he had at West Ham. I think Mason Mount is a more natural fit at United. And he has been particularly ruthless at the moment, Ten Hag. He's taken up a stance with the goalkeeper, De Gea, and he basically wants to change that squad quite dramatically. I'm sure it'd suit him if he could move on McTominay and Maguire, amongst others, because they have got a lot of players who are kind of not up to scratch for Manchester United. When you think of the quality of players at City and Arsenal, there's not many United players would get into the Arsenal team or the City, most certainly the City team. Maybe Rashford, Fernandes, but apart from that, that's about it.
And just a word on Chelsea. They've obviously let Mason Mount go, it seems. They've let Mateo Kovacic go to Man City and they've let Kai Havertz go to Arsenal. Do you think they've maybe gone a bit too far with their player sales? Do you think they'll regret letting some of them go?
Well, they've had a lot of managerial changes there. They're desperately trying to keep themselves within the financial fair play rules. I think that's sparking some of the changes that are going on. But I wouldn't rule out Chelsea long term. They're a substantial team, and I think they'll come back strong next season, having had such an horrendous season last year.
Yeah, it certainly can't get any worse for them anyway. And we'll move on to the Betfred Super League now. Warrington versus Leeds were in action last night. How's that game sort of affected the table?
Well, I was at that game, and it was a dire performance, particularly in the first half from Warrington. In fact, the team got booed off at half time, and they were booed big time at the end. The Leeds supporters were baiting the Warrington fans by asking them as a fire drill because they were all exiting so early in the second half. They got back into it to a degree in the second half, but they still went down badly. It was a terrible defeat, really. And I know that Darryl Powell will be really angry that his admittedly injury-hit squad couldn't perform against Leeds, who looked a lot more slicker with the attacking play. They had much more imagination. And also, I just thought they were stronger in the tackle as well. They were kind of more committed to the game. And they ran out the victors. It has affected the odds. St Helens remain the 7-4 favourites to win the Super League Grand Final outright. Wigan 4-1, the same as Catalans, and Warrington are on the slide now. They're 9-2. And I was looking at the table, and at the end of tonight's and Saturday's fixtures, they could end up in something like 4th or 5th place, which is catastrophic when you can consider how brilliant they were at the beginning of the season, when they won 10 matches on the bounce. So Warrington are now 9-2 to win the Super League outright. Lee 12-1. I mean, what season they're having. Salford 14-1. They're the Greater Manchester clubs. Wigan 4-1. And we've got matches tonight, and we've got lots of offers available on these. Got Wakefield against Salford. Salford are 7-4 to win that game. They probably will. Wakefield being the bottom of the Super League. And then we've got St Helens against Castleford, another top league bottom clash. St Helens doing kind of all right, but not brilliant by their standards. They host Castleford, who are second from bottom, and they're 6-4 with Betfred to win by 20 points or more. And then we've got Lee against Hull KR. Hull KR be looking for revenge after Lee beat them earlier in the season. We've got Josh Charnley and Lewis Senior both to score. That's 5-4 with Betfred in that game. And then finally for the Greater Manchester teams, we've got Wigan against Huddersfield, and we've got Wigan to win by 22 points or more, and that's 2-1 now at Betfred.
And moving on to the Austrian Grand Prix that's taking place this weekend. Unsurprisingly, Max Verstappen is the favourite once again.
Yeah, he's odds on. He's 4-11 to win. Perez is 15-2. Alonso same price, 15-2. Lewis Hamilton 12-1. George Russell, his partner, 25-1 to win the Austrian Grand Prix.
And we've got a nice winner to end on. He's won £60,000. It's a man from East Timor. Can you tell us more about him?
Yeah, he works as a chef in Derby, and he's a regular customer. He's known as Smiley in the shop, so it'll be a great big beaming smile. Now he's won so much. But he had £13.50 in 3 different types of bets, same numbers on the 49 game, and he's picked up £62,000 from a £13.50 bet. Apparently he's going to send some of his money back to his family in East Timor. But well done to him.
Yeah, very well done to him. Thanks Peter as always for joining us. And if you do fancy a bet, you can bet online, on the app or in Betfred stores.